this is Roshni from LearnoHub, the free learning platform where you can learn math, science, social science absolutely for free at learnohub.com. Welcome to the fourth video of the video series on why do we fall ill class 9th science, and in this video our agenda is to understand how do the infectious agents target our body. So this is an important topic and also a conceptual one. So stay focused and learn with me. Let's get started.
Now we will talk about some of the terminologies related to infection. So whenever we talk of infection, there are certain terms which often comes our way. So I just want to talk about few such terms. So the first term which I will talk about is a pathogen. What is a pathogen? Microbes that cause diseases are often known as pathogens, right? So here in this lesson, we are everywhere using the term microbes, but somewhere you will see that they will use the word pathogen. So examples of pathogens are the viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, because they are all capable of causing diseases and they cause diseases. So that is why they are known as pathogens. So why I am telling this is that maybe when you go through a textbook or maybe when you are going through somewhere else and you find this word, you should not feel that you never heard it somewhere, right? That's why I am just telling you what are pathogens. They are nothing but the microbes which cause diseases. Host. What is a host? Organism that the microbe attacks or infects. Now these microbes will cause diseases. So where will it cause diseases? It will target some organism where it will cause disease. So that organism is known as host. Best example is human beings. Right? If you look at this figure, this poor human being gets infected when he is attacked by this bacteria, right? So this is the bacteria which is going to attack this human being. So this human being is a host for this bacteria, right? So this bacteria is a pathogen and the human being is a host. The next one is parasite. What is a parasite? Often people get a lot of confusion between a pathogen and parasite. Many people think that pathogen and parasite are all the same, but they are not exactly the same, even though they look quite similar. What are parasites? These are organisms that live in the body of host and derives nutrients from host, not necessarily kill the host. Okay, so parasites also live in the body of a host, right? It will also survive, or it needs, for its survival, it also needs some nutrients and food, so it will derive its nutrients from that host itself. But that doesn't mean that it will kill the host. One example of a parasite is tapeworms and lice. Lice would be the best example for you to understand. Let us suppose this lady has a lice in her hair. Do you think that the lady will die? Obviously not, right? But at the same time, if you look at this lice, what is it doing? It is living in the body of the host. Who is the host? Host is the organism that the microbe attacks. So here the lice is attacking this lady. So the lady is the host. So this lice is living in the body of the host, and it is deriving its nutrients from the host. So what is the lice doing? The lice actually sucks blood, right? So the lice is getting all its nutrients from the hair. So it is happy there. It is growing and it is also multiplying in number. So it is deriving its nutrients, but it is not killing the lady as well, right? But so you might ask, so what is the difference between a pathogen? Because the pathogen also enters the body of a host and the pathogen also lives inside the body of host. Now, pathogens cause diseases. They will always cause diseases. But when we talk of parasites, it is not necessary that they will cause diseases. Because for parasites, if you see, it is good if that person is alive. If the host is living, it is good for the parasite, because the parasite is getting its nutrients from the host. So the parasite will be happy if the host is living. If this lady dies, what will happen? The parasite will also not get its nutrient. The lice will also not get its nutrient. So the lice will also eventually die, right? So the lice doesn't want this lady to die. But when we talk of pathogen, for example, the bacteria or viruses, they enter the body of the host and they cause diseases. right? But in case of parasites, it is not necessary that they will cause diseases. However, sometimes these parasites can also cause diseases. For example, the tapeworms, which I mentioned. Sometimes it happens that people have worms inside their body for a very long time, but they do not face any problems as such. But the worm has been continuously taking nutrients from the person's body. Now, since the worm is also taking a lot of nutrients from the person's body, so what is happening? So whatever amount of food he is eating, a good portion of it is actually consumed by the worm. So the person is eventually becoming weaker, right? Now, when the person becomes weak, he becomes a target for many diseases, right? And eventually it might cause diseases in that person. So sometimes the parasite can cause disease in the host, but it is not necessary that it will always kill the host or it will always cause diseases. So that is the difference between a parasite and a pathogen, right? And the last term, which again we will discuss, is vector. Vector we however discussed in the previous slide, but still I would like to discuss it once again. So it introduces the parasites into the host body. So vector is the one which will introduce the parasite into the host's body. The best example is mosquito. So when a mosquito bites you, what is it doing? It is actually introducing the parasite into your body. Now that parasite can kill you, the parasite can cause a disease in you, the parasite might not cause a disease in you. That again depends on the type of parasite that is being introduced into the body. So now you understand each of these terms: pathogen, host, parasite and vector, right? Why I explained them? I didn't just explain them out of the way, since they are all related to infection, and I'm sure when you go through a textbooks or when you go through any other book, you will come across these terms. So it is good if you know them, right? Okay. So with this, we got quite a good amount of idea about the infectious diseases, what causes the infectious diseases, how the infectious disease spread from one person to another person, right? So now we will talk about how do the infectious agents affect our body. Right? That means now we have understood it up to so far that the infectious diseases, how they come to our body from somebody else's body. Now once it comes to our body, what does it do inside our body? Where does it go inside our body, and what happens inside our body? So we will try to have a look to that part in this section, right? So now the question is, our body is so large. So once the microbes enter inside our body, they have so many options to go. So they can go wherever they like. What do you think the microbes will mainly target at? I mean, where the microbes go, what are the factors on which it depends? So the target site is decided by the point of entry. So point of entry means the point from which the microbe is entering our body. Let us look at this example. Let us suppose if the microbe, say the microbe is a bacteria here. Now if this bacteria enters our body while breathing through our nose, so what will happen? So this nose is the point of entry, right? So it is entering through the nose. So what do you think is the easiest target for this bacteria? The easiest target would be the lungs, because when it goes through the nose, this nasopharynx will directly connect it to the lungs. So it can directly go to the lungs and it can sit there. So the target organ in this case is lungs. Now when it hits the lungs, when the bacteria hits the lungs, it can cause many diseases. One of the example is tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a disease which is caused by bacteria, and here the lungs are majorly affected. So what kind of problems will be there? I mean, what will be the symptoms of this disease? Since your lungs are affected, what do you think should be the symptoms? Because everything is related, right? So if your lungs are affected, do you think that you will get headache? Or do you think that you will get loose motions? Because lungs doesn't do all those things, right? Lungs are involved in breathing. So maybe you will have breathing problems. You might have cough, right? Because all these things are related to the functioning of the lungs. So once your lungs are infected, so you might have breathing problems, you might have cough. So you might get a disease like tuberculosis also, right? Now let us suppose if the point of entry of the bacteria would have been different. Let us suppose that the bacteria entered through your mouth with your food or water. So here you can see this man is very happy eating a delicious food and drinking a glass of water. But maybe some bacteria is entering inside his body through the food. So what will happen if the bacteria enters through food? Which organ do you think will it target? Now there are two possibilities again here. So it can go and it can affect the gut lining of the intestine. What is the gut lining? That means the pipe which takes the food to the digestive. So maybe the microbe, when it enters, it will affect the digestive organs because it will affect the tube through which the food goes inside. Now when it affects the digestive tract, it can cause a disease like typhoid. Right? So in typhoid, you might get fever, you might have problems in digestion, right? So here you can see that even though you enjoyed a delicious food, but the bacteria entered and it reached your intestines and then they are parting there, and as a result, you are suffering. Or it might also happen that maybe some other microbe, for example, say virus. If virus enters through your food and it goes to through the food pipe, where will it go? The virus often goes to the liver, and when the virus reaches the liver, it often causes jaundice, right? So it all depends which microorganism is entering your body, from which point it is entering your body. So from whichever point it enters your body, it tries to target the nearest organ. If it is through nose, it targets lungs. If it is through mouth, it tries to target liver or stomach or intestine. Right? So it, depending upon from where it is entering, it decides its target organ. Right? And depending upon the target organ, depending upon the organ of the body which is affected, you will have symptoms of the disease. For example, if your brain is affected, you might have headaches, you might get fits, you might become unconscious at times, right? Similarly, if your stomach or intestine is affected, you might have indigestion problems, you might have loose motions, you might get stomach pain. Again, if you have the lungs affected, you will have breathing problems. So depending upon the organs which are affected, the symptoms of the disease will be seen. Right? So this is one way by which the microorganisms decide their target site. Now, there are other scenarios as well where they can also spread from one part to different body parts. It is not always that a microorganism enters the body, it targets the lungs and then it sits inside the lungs. That is not the case always. In some cases, it is seen that it enters through one point and then it spreads to different body parts. Right? So let us look at some of these kind of examples. Let us suppose this lady is bitten by a mosquito. So which is the point of entry? Point of entry is her skin, right? Because the mosquito is sitting on her skin and is biting her and is also injecting the microbe inside her body. Then it is seen that these microbes can go to the liver and then it can spread through to all the red blood cells of the body. That means it will spread because red blood cells are present throughout the body. So these microbes will actually affect all the red blood cells throughout the body, and as a result it will cause malaria. Right? So that means in this case the mosquito bite entered the microbes or introduced the microbes in your body. These microbes affected your liver. So it went till your liver and it also went to all the red blood cells of the body. Similarly, the same mosquito bite could have also made the microbes reach to your brain. The microbes can even travel high up to your brain. Now when the microbes reach your brain, you might get symptoms like headaches, fits, vomiting, and you might end up with a disease like brain fever. Right? So the same mosquito bite can give rise to something like brain fever, and the same mosquito bite can also give rise something like malaria. So whether it is malaria or it is brain fever, it depends upon the microbe which is entering your body, because malaria is caused by a specific type of microbe. Similarly, brain fever is caused by a specific type of microbe. So that depends upon the type of microbe. right? And it also depends upon the organ which is hit. If it is the brain which is the target, you get brain fever. If it is the liver and the red blood cells which are the targets, you get malaria. Now since your red blood cells are affected, that is why when a patient suffers from malaria, the doctor first he looks at the symptoms and the signs of the disease, and then he diagnoses that maybe it is malaria. But he becomes sure only when he asks you to get your blood tests done, because when you come back with your blood test reports, the report shows that the blood is contaminated with a infection, right? So now you can see that till now we discussed two ways by which the infectious agents affect inside our body. One is it will hit the organ which is nearest to the point of entry. The second option is it will hit through one portion of the body and then it will spread to all other parts of the body, right? So another example of this is the HIV virus. The AIDS happened because of a virus, right? So that virus will also, as I mentioned, AIDS generally spread through sexual contact. So maybe that virus will enter the body through the sex organs, but then it gradually spreads to all the lymph nodes of the body, and that is how it spreads throughout the body, right? So these kind of scenarios happen for certain cases. Now there is yet another scenario where some infectious agents also target the immune system of the body. Now the question is, what is immune system? Immune system plays a very, very important role for our health, right? What is immune system? First, let us try to understand what is the immune system. What does it do? Only then we'll be able to understand what happens when the infectious agents target the immune system. Let us try to understand the immune system. So, immune system is a network of cells that protects the body from foreign particles. Now, let us look at this example in order to understand the immune system. Let us suppose that this beautiful house is yours and you have employed these security guards to ensure that your house is safe and secure from thieves and robbers, right? So these two persons, these security guards are the protectors of your house. Now what do you think will happen when a thief tries to come near your house? When the thief tries to enter inside your house, these security guards will fight with the thief, correct? Now if in this fight the security guards win, then what will happen? The thief will run away, he will go back. So your house is protected. But if in this war the thief wins, maybe the thief is having more powerful weapons than your security guards, then in that case the thief will win. And what will happen? The thief will enter your house and the thief will take things, steal things from your house, and you will lose things, right? So this is story which I told you, and I am sure you have understood the story, right? Now imagine that your health or your body is this house. So this house is your body, right? And these security guards which you have employed for the protection of your house is the immune system. So immune system of your body always wants to protect your body from foreign particles. What are the foreign particles? Foreign particles can be anything. It can be a microbe, it can be a bacteria, virus, fungi, it can be some dust, dirt, anything. So the immune system will always try to protect you from these foreign particles. Now as soon as a foreign particle enters your body, what happens? For example, a mosquito had bitten you and it has introduced a microbe inside your body. So that means, let us suppose it is similar to the scenario that a thief entered the premises of your house. The thief entered the boundary of your house. Now when the thief is outside your house boundary, this security guards will not fight, right? Because they will not know if he is a thief or if he is going to bother you or not. But as soon as the thief is entering your boundary, what will happen? The security guards will start fighting. Similarly, as soon as a microbe enters, a group of cells of the affected tissue is employed to kill off the microbes. That means, let us suppose if the mosquito, let us suppose if while breathing a microbe entered and it went to your lungs, right? So the affected tissue is what? The tissue of your lungs, right? So the tissue, a group of cells inside that lung tissue will be employed to kill off the microbes. So that means a group of cells, that those are your security guards. So those security guards of the lung tissue will start fighting with the bacteria which has entered the lungs, right? So this process is known as inflammation. So inflammation is a process in which a group of cells are employed to kill off the microbes or to kill off the foreign particles. So this process is inflammation. Now what happens if those group of cells win? Then what happens? You do not suffer from any disease because the microbe is gone. But if the microbes win, if the group of cells are not strong enough to fight or to kill the microbes, in that case the microbes win and you suffer from a disease, right? So this concept is clear. Now what happens as a result of this inflammation? There are a few consequences of inflammation. Now whenever an infection enters your body, some cells start fighting off that infection. Now when this process of inflammation starts, the consequences are pain in that area, sometimes swelling in that area. You also tend to get slight fever. So these are some of the consequences of inflammation. That is why you would have seen that when you get hurt, let us suppose you got a small hurt. Now immediately when you get that hurt, it doesn't start paining immediately. It pains after a few seconds or after a few minutes. That's because as soon as you get hurt, it is like some external thing or some foreign particle has entered your body, right? Now what will happen? That particular tissues, cells will start fighting. As soon as they start fighting, you tend to feel pain or swelling or fever. So sometimes you would have seen that you feel pain, you take rest for some time or you wait for some time and the pain goes off and you do not suffer from anything. So that is the scenario where your immune system is winning the match, is winning the game, and therefore you are not suffering from any disease. But sometimes it happens that sometimes you get a slight stomach pain. With that stomach pain, you gradually get to know that you are actually suffering from a major disease. So that is the scenario where it started off with a fight between the immune system and the microbes, but finally the microbes won, and that is why you are suffering from a disease, right? So now you understand what is the immune system, what is the purpose of immune system. So it is very, very important that a person remains healthy. That is why when I was mentioning you an example, right, that a boy is suffering from cholera when he is drinking some unclean water, but why others are not suffering? Because maybe others are healthy enough and that boy is not very healthy. Not very healthy, I mean that maybe his immune system is not very strong. So if your immune system is very weak, you will become a target to most of the diseases, because every time any microbe or any foreign particle enters your body, your immune system will not be able to fight off or kill off that microbes. And in order to have a strong immune system, it is very, very necessary that you eat healthy, you lead a nice life, you have a balanced diet, proper sleep. So everything is needed in order to be healthy. If you are healthy and strong enough, you will have a good immune system to fight back diseases, right? So now you understand what is immune system. So now try to understand the first statement. Some agents target the immune system of the body. So some infection, as we saw in the last two slides, some agents will target only the nearest organ from the point of entry. Some will spread to different parts of the body. Now there are some others who will target the immune system of the body. So you can understand how dangerous these kind of agents will be. So the example of this is AIDS. In AIDS, the virus enters through the sex organs, but then they target the immune system of the body. So they damage the immune system of the body. Now if your immune system is damaged, what will happen? Immediately you will not feel anything, right? Because immune system is not functioning every time. It is functioning only when you get some infection. So once your immune system is completely damaged, what will happen? Even if you get little cold, there is nothing inside your body to fight off that little cold. So that little cold also will turn very severe and it will turn into pneumonia. Similarly, if you get a small indigestion happens, and if you get some loose motions, so there is nothing again to fight off those loose motions, and it will increase, and it will aggravate and will become diarrhea. Now, so these small infections will become severe, and ultimately this will lead to death of that person. So that is why AIDS is considered to be a very severe disease, because it actually spoils the immune system of the body. So these are also some kind of infectious agents who will not go anywhere else. It will just target the immune system of the body. So they are very intelligent agents. They know that immune system are the one who will try to fight back with me. So they directly target the immune system. So these are some of the ways by which the infectious agents enter our body and then try to affect our body, right?
So children, what do you have to say about this video? If you have a feedback, do not forget to write it in the comment section, because we eagerly wait to read your comments. And if you really liked the video, do not forget to share it with your friends so that your friends can also enjoy learning. So keep learning, keep enjoying, stay safe, stay home, and stay healthy. I will meet you all very soon with a new video, with a new topic. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.